On July 11th, 2022, Sharon Stoney entered my property and attempted to steal my bike. As you watch the video here, she had just been into the other neighbors' properties. I've talked to the neighbors, I've reviewed evidence, and I've seen that she had entered their properties and was looking for stuff to steal and tried to steal a weed whacker and a bicycle. So she walks down the road past my house. You can see, then she turns around and she comes back. She walks up to the front lock, looks at it, figures out that it's partially locked, fidgets with it for a minute, manages to get it open. Then she places the lock on top of the fence. Then she opens the shut and locked gate and enters my property. She then walks over to my front porch, opens the door, and enters the front porch area where she had attempted to steal the bike. At this point in the video, you can see Miss Stoney sneaking into my front porch. She is tiptoeing over, looking for stuff to steal. She looks on top of the counter at some stuff. She looks at the bike. She's checking the tires, make sure the tires aren't flat on the bicycle. She's looking, obviously, to take it. She's looking at some of the other stuff around there. There's other items on the counter that were there. So she's going through some of that stuff. Looks at the vacuum. Now she attempts to pick up the bicycle. So now she's trying to carefully and quietly sneak the bike off of the porch. And she's unfolding it. The dog's starting to get up. She probably hears the dog growling. At this point, the dog's probably barking at her. But she's having all kinds of difficulty with the bicycle. At this point, she bent the latch on the bicycle where the two halves of the bike fold together because she's not properly moving the bicycle. She's forcing the bicycle to do what she wants it to do, but she's not doing it properly. Now at this point, she sees the latch and she's messing with it, trying to put the bicycle together, I'm assuming, so that she can ride away with it. Clearly, at this point, she's not hiding from her husband like she said. She's not just hiding from somebody. She's clearly stealing the bicycle. But she's having trouble getting my front door open with the bicycle in her hand. At this point, she hears me at the front door. She puts the bicycle down, probably to try not to make noise. And then when I go to open the front latch on the door, she'll hide in the corner. And at this point, she's hiding in the corner. And I am opening the front door. And the dog is barking. I see the top of my head. I'm looking out. I'm like, who's out here? What's going on? Why is my bike there? Then I walk out, and there she is. So at this point, I reach over to the deadbolt and I lock the deadbolt, and I hold the door handle shut. So at this point, I'm holding the door handle shut and my door is locked. She is in my house. My door is locked. She had entered my house and tried to steal my property inside my house. Now she's trying to get out, and she's forcing her way past me. She forces my door open and forces her way past me, but I grab onto her wrist as she's attempting to flee away, and I'm yelling to Susanna at this time to call the police, get the police here. She's stealing our stuff, she's stealing our bike. You need to call the police. So I'm still, at this point though in the video, I'm still holding the door, and then Miss Stoney manages to get the door open, so I grab onto her. At this part in the video, Miss Stoney had already tried to attempt to steal my bicycle. I've talked to neighbors, and neighbors say that there's been multiple people with bicycles. They've seen them in the security cameras at night with Miss Stoney. You see a bicycle going by. I can't say for sure that he is with her, but there were 2 guys on bicycles seen with her when she entered other houses at night. So at this point, I'm on the porch. She's trying to exit. She forces her way past me, pushes past me, and forces the door open as I'm trying to detain her. So I grab her hand and I won't let her leave. I tell Susanna to go lock the gate. Susanna goes over to the gate, but she goes to lock it and the lock is gone. The lock is gone because Miss Stoney had removed the lock from the gate in order to enter the property. So at this point, you see Susanna with the phone. She's on the phone with the 911 dispatcher, trying to get the police to show up so they can deal with Miss Stoney, because she had, entered our house, and she was in our house stealing our property at the time that I caught her out there. So Susanna goes back over, and Miss Stoney's telling her that her husband was beating her and she was hiding from her husband, and she wasn't stealing anything. She told us she had AIDS, and then she was attempting to bite me after telling me she had AIDS. She was telling me, that she had AIDS, she was abused, her husband was beating her, she was hiding, she wasn't stealing. Clearly, you've seen the video, she was stealing my bicycle, and she was lying at that point. We kind of felt a little sorry for her because we weren't sure if she was stealing the bike. It looked kind of obvious. Now that we've seen the video, it's 100% obvious that she was attempting to steal my property. So at this point, we're just waiting on the police to show up. In a second here, we'll re-enter the screen, and you will see Miss Stoney, trying to pull away from me as I'm holding her wrist to keep her there until the police arrive, because she was trying to, flee, because obviously she had committed a crime and she didn't want to get caught and she didn't want to get the police involved. Okay, at this point you can see my head, you can see me blocking her, not letting her leave. Susanna's, over there, she's talking to Susanna, and she's insisting, oh, I need to leave, I won't do it again, I wasn't stealing, I was just hiding on your porch, which is totally false. See, she attempted to bite my hand there, and I had to pull her around a different way. So see, she's like trying to bite me at this point. Putting her head down, trying to get my arm, so I grab her from behind so that she can't bite me. And then this other guy comes up on a bike and starts talking. And it was interesting that he came up to us while we had her. We did not know at this time that she had been seen with people, 2 males on bicycles, while she was entering other properties. So the guy's talking to us, but he's not acting like he's trying to, get a freed or anything. He's like, wow, mama, you were stealing a bicycle. That's terrible. You're going to go to jail. So he didn't exactly seem like an accomplice, but he did happen to be there at the time. It's part of the video. It's there. I don't know if he's involved or if he's not involved. I zoomed in a little so you get kind of a better look at him. But after I talked to the other neighbors saw her entering the properties with two males with her. I do not know if this is one of the two males. I do not know if the other guy who rode by is one of the two males, but it was mentioned that she had been seen with multiple male suspects as she was casing the neighborhood, looking in people's properties and stuff for stuff to steal. So at this point, we're waiting for the police to arrive. At this point here in the video, we're still waiting for the police to arrive, but I'm still holding Miss Stoney back because she's trying to force her way off the property. She's trying to bite me, and she's throwing a fit, and she's telling me, her husband was trying to beat her, and she needs to escape, and she has AIDS, and she's attempting to bite me, and she's shaking, and now she just scared Susanna. Susanna's like, just sit down and wait. And she's just throwing a big old fuss, obviously because she was just caught red-handed, but she's lying and saying that she wasn't stealing, she was just on the porch hiding. I'm telling Susanna, lock the gate. She's looking for the lock, but the lock is gone because Miss Stoney had taken it. She goes outside the gate, and then she finds the lock that Miss Stoney had removed from the gate. See, she finds it, and then she puts it back on the gate because the lock was not supposed to be gone from the gate, but Miss Stoney had removed the lock from the gate in order to enter the property. And we're just waiting on the police. The rest of the video, we're essentially waiting on the police. The police arrive, and then we, handle the situation. At this point in the video, one of the neighbors from down the block came walking by because she had heard all the commotion and stuff, and she was walking her dog. So she comes walking by, she sees us, and I tell her that she was in our yard stealing our bike. Then a couple seconds later, you'll see Susanna walk out there and start talking to her. She talks to her, and it turns out that Miss Stoney and her two accomplices were trying to steal a weed whacker and a lawnmower and some other stuff from one of the houses right down the road earlier in the week, and they had set off the car alarm on the car when they were trying to get the stuff out of there, and the car alarm scared them, and they left the stuff sitting there and didn't pick it up.